Okay. Oh, perfect. You gotta go over while I'm, like, changing them into their, Yeah, well, I mean, I have to. I have to go fast. I have to go fast. Alright, we're all good. No one's gonna question it. I have to set options, because I probably didn't do that already. What color blood? White? White blood? Alright, perfect. White blood. I was gonna say white, red, or black, so... By the way, we should probably get audio capturing my controller. It's kind of important. Because the controller talks, and it's going to creep me out again. The controller does talk, though.
We're gonna hold it low.
It should be fine like this, because it makes a lot of noise.
Okay. If you start getting feedback, it's fine. Okay?
I don't know if this will pick it up, though. That's the thing, because I don't... This only picks up right in my face.
Alright, worst case, it becomes a problem with muted and they just won't get it.
Yeah, that's fine.
You just have to hold the controller up to your face.
I mean, I think they might want to hear what Anna has to say. It's very important. Because it's mid-mission. Far... key hold, key push. Alright, I think we're good. Alright, so we're doing a new game. Because that is, you know, something new. We're doing it on casual, I believe. So, because I'm a filthy casual sometimes. But anyways, ready on time there? Alright, 3, 2, 1, start. Alright, so this is Onechanbara. We have a bit of an intro level. It's completely timed. There's no way to make it really any faster except for just button mashing through the dialogue boxes that pop up that explain how to do anything in this game, which still doesn't explain most of the mechanics, just the basics. There's a lot of loading screens. You'll see them. They display a lot of information about this game. But anyways, we're going to skip all these. We're going to jump and then just button mash. Just going to play around a little bit. So we, access to 4 characters later in the run. Beginning of the game, we'll only have 2. The 2 characters I do have aren't the ones we'll be using mostly. We'll be using the character we're actually fighting right now. And I'm just kind of messing around right now. Just waiting for them to finish talking. But, yeah, so we have the main sister here, which is kind of a new character in the series, and then we have our other character here, which is her other sister, which is, you know, she's nice. She's got a chainsaw, she's got a mace, you know, great character. She's got, like, a fist-type weapon. And then the other 2 characters we're fighting are from the very first game, or games. But yeah, so this starts like way later in the series, and we're like basically starting where the first game ends off, which is kind of a really bad game because for whatever, you have to hope that it doesn't 50-50 crash on every loading screen. And that game has a lot of loading screens mid-mission, whereas this game doesn't have that many. It was actually designed a lot better as far as combat. You know, it's almost like Platinum made this game. But it's not. It's just a really good hack and slash. So we can switch between characters. We can also call characters out. So now I have both characters out. And then if I fight, they'll fight with me. We'll be able to do that quite a bit. We can also switch weapons. And yeah, just like everything in the first Onechanbara, it's just done way better. which is probably another one that I'm going to want to run at some point, but I don't know if I can actually stomach playing that game because it's just so boring and so slow. But, I mean, a co-op run of that game would be something, so, I mean, maybe I'll find someone that wants to suffer with me and do a nice co-op run. That'd be fun. But anyway, so that's the first chapter down. I'm going to be doing chapters out of order because it's easier. So, kind of doing some of the bosses out of order, but that's fine. So we have to do chapter 2 like this. Oh, my controller's like really quiet. That's surprising. Alright, so we're going to switch to AI here, which is the character I want to be playing as. I'll have to fix the controller talking in a second, but we'll do that when I actually got time.
I do it right now, because if you pass out, I'm just leaving your ass behind. Shut your mouth. I was planning to do that anyway. Still, auto-regeneration. Quite the useful body you've got.
So, nice thing about AI here is she's like a lot faster than the other characters. She also only has one weapon, but it's a pair of swords, and I can choose to either use one or two. So we got an S rank. That's not a V rank, so it's not very good.
So, we're not the ones trapped in here. They are?
That was actually a bad attack. Because now, like, all of these guys are, like, over in this direction. So these yellow orbs we're going to be using to level up our character, kind of. That was terrible. It's fine, though. Just gotta go faster.
You sure we're going the right way,
So I hope you guys enjoy the totally white blood. And yeah, we need to switch the outfit because it makes us go faster. Actually, that's a lie. It's just an outfit. But it's one of the best outfits for this game.
There were too many of them.
Alright, so we're just going to get by this area. So I'm doing this mechanic called air dashing, and we got the cutscene trigger, which is actually good. Usually, skipping it is nice too, but there's a good chance the game would like semi-soft lock for a bit. And I don't know why it does that, but it has a chance to do that if we skip that cutscene. For whatever reason, I have to be at a certain height when I go past that area there before this fight actually starts right away and the cutscene fires. So if I don't, then I'm just kind of chilling there. So let's hope that we got it properly, because even if the cutscene does play, there's a good chance that the game could just like decide to soft lock here and then just continuously spawn enemies for an absurd amount of time. So we're just kind of hoping that that wasn't the case. Alright, cool. So we got the cutscene trigger there. So now we have our Super Saiyan mode for our main character of the game. And now we're just going to kill everything really quickly. And do some Kamehameha blasts. Just like that. And it's all done. So how we got transformation mode is we had a cutscene here that we skipped that... and we skipped the fight, so that's good. That shows us sucking the blood off of one of the other Banefuls, and or Vampirics, sorry, because we play as a character, a pair of sisters, that are Banefuls, and then mixing the blood causes them to have some weird transformation, Super Saiyan kind of look. They kind of look like furries, but I swear, they're not furries at all. They're just really powerful demon Super Saiyans. We're just going to go with that. Yeah, that's just how that is. So now we're on Chapter 3.
Saki, where? Let's go.
So now we're playing as the two younger sisters of the sisters that we were just playing. And we're waiting for this wall to drop down. So, play this, we'll play Saki a little bit here. And now that the walls drop, we can finish killing the rest of the enemies. So, the reason why I play certain characters is because, mostly because I'm more comfortable with those characters. And, they're also faster, like, attack-wise, which is kind of what I want.
Can you hear me? This is Saya. I'm fine. Saki's with me, but Sis is nowhere to be found.
I don't even know if you guys can even hear Anna, because whatever reason, my controller's actually not talking loud for whatever reason. So, I must have turned it down at some point when I got annoyed that the game was spooking me while speedrunning it.
We're fine. Thank you for
I don't know if you guys play a lot of games that talk through the controllers, but it's a mechanic I kind of wish I had a lot more control over. And I really don't. So I'm repeating the same combo right now with this character because I don't have other moves. And it's just like the fastest combo chain that I can do right now. Like I end it with like a slash and just like kind of cut out in half, but it really doesn't do a whole lot. Somehow we bounced them. We gotta kill all these machine gunners as well. Might help if I wipe the blood off, so we just did that. So you'll see me like whip, like my characters will throw the sword around while I'm like flying through the air. That's just me wiping the blood off of it. I kind of have to. So we don't actually have transformation mode yet, so we just went into rage. So I'm doing way more damage now, and I can preserve it by switching characters. So that's also a thing that I can do. But we don't want to do that, so. Stage is actually taking a lot longer than it should be. At least I feel like it is. There we go.
I surprised even myself.
Alright, so we got more characters down here.
Does it make a difference? Just pay attention to what you're doing. I'm sorry.
So the interesting thing about going into rage mode, my health of the character is also diminishing very slowly. That's just another thing that happens. So, I'm using some of their special attacks. That's why she was just shooting like lasers out of the sword. Don't know how to explain it. It's just some like air slashes that she can throw at the enemies, which is kind of nice. But we're not in demonic rage anymore, so no worries. We're not going to lose any more health than we already did. So there's a small chance that one of these enemies will actually break out of bounds. And if that happens, then there could be problems. But we won't let that happen. At least I hope not. Alright, good stuff. So, the interesting part about some of these stages is, well, in ILs, you'd be able to like skip over some of these fights boundaries. It's not possible to do most of those early on because you don't have access to 4 characters. But in the ILs, you do. So what I'm doing is I'm spinning my mace around, and these Medusa head here can actually just like chase me from behind. So I'm just like spinning around and repositioning myself. So that's all I was doing. And then we're just going to go in this little, you know, bright light of a door and skip on to the next stage. So that was 3 V ranks. That was solid. That was pretty damn good. That means I had the speed, the damage. But I think this game prioritizes like combo and damage for score over speed. So unfortunately, I might not get as many V ranks. But that's fine. That's what makes getting V ranks on all missions kind of interesting. So there's about three active runners, as far as I know, on this game. Could be, I don't know if they're all still active, but they were at some point or another. Okay, so I don't want to go down that alleyway because that actually spawns more enemies, but I do want to kill these werewolves so that it, you know, spawns the proper guys over here. Then we can fight these guys. So there's a lot of slow-mo Bayonetta kind of style stuff that happens during some of these scenes, and we're just going to see a lot of flashing and stuff. I swear, if the capture card's failing and all you see is like a lot of pixelation, it's just because this game's too fast. I'm sorry. This game is not the easiest to capture. I know that for a fact.
I'm surprised even myself. Mudman.
So now we have to wait for this little bit here. So I'm just gonna have to stand here. Oh, why is it doing that? Okay. Guess we can't fix the controller talking. That's fine. He's got a mini boss here. If I can lock onto him. There we go. So we want to be jumping in the air when he does his little stomps there. Because if I'm not in the air, he'll actually hurt me. So we're going to switch to our fist weapon here. And we have to be on the ground for the QTEs, which are done with the touchpad. So that's a very interesting mechanic of this game. Is as long as I'm on the ground or like near the ground, I can activate QTEs for practically anywhere. Pretty large range in leniency for those. I can actually activate them before they appear too, if I know exactly when that frame is going to be. So here you didn't even see it, but I know the frame that he's going down based on the animation. So we can just kind of do the QTE a little bit before it actually shows up. It goes, hey, you can do this. So now he's dead. We're going to switch back to our sword here, and then we're going to air dash out of here. We don't actually have to fight any of those enemies, surprisingly enough. You just have to wait a few seconds, spawn the boss, and then just kill that. In this little arena, we just have to kill a few of these werewolves and vampires. And, you know, move on to the actual bosses of this stage. I hope people got their Franker Z's ready because you guys will need that soon. Or any kind of like Dogi emote. You'll want it very soon. Oh, I didn't get another V right. Damn. All right, we got to do a reset. I didn't get all V. Yeah, that sucks. Maybe another time. I'm really sorry, but you can just turn off the table mic. My controller's not talking loud enough to make it worthwhile. Unfortunately, I thought it was higher, but it's not. Yeah, I get this game goes fast, so sometimes it's a bit of a pain to capture. Like, this game should be outputting at 60 FPS. I'm wondering if it's the HTCP error thing, like, just the fact that that's not, that might be an issue. Anyways, so we're at a part of the fight where we're fighting Mudmen. You can't actually hurt them with normal attacks. They're in the first game as well. They're really annoying. So we just have to wait, though, which is fine. We have some artificing. That happens sometimes when the game's going too fast. So cutscene, we're biting the other sister, and then we got a transformation. So now we meet this other boss character, which is called Misery, wherever the hell she is. Can I just find her and lock onto her, please? Alright, I think we got her. There we go. Alright, there's a lot of shit going on right now, but I just switched to a bunch of characters to activate a bunch of combos. Alright, so we got a QTE that we're going to do. It's a good thing we get to enjoy the outfits while we're doing the QTEs. It's pretty nice. Alright, so Franker Z shows up here, and we're going to teach him a lesson. Alright, so Franker Z is not very happy with us. That's okay. So we're going to cut off his tail here. And we'll finish him up. Alright, so we got a V rank. That's good. Wait for the cutscene to play here.
You all okay?
Alright, so Anna's talking to us. It's fine, we're finished this chapter, we can move on. So now the real fun parts start. And that's where we get to start, like, leveling up the characters and, you know, selecting a few stages out of order, which we're going to do. Because that's just the way that they appear on the menu. Because for whatever reason, selecting them normally is, like, really, really slow. So we're going to select Japan first. I'm going to select the last character, and then I'm going to go into the options menu here. And we're going to go to AI here, and we're going to, first of all, we're going to buy the Fleetfoot ring, which we have enough for, which is the running ring, and then we're also going to grab the attack power ring. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and then we're going to go over to skills, and we're going to find our character that we're playing as. So she's right here. And we're just going to rank up some of these skills here with remaining points that we have. You might have seen this stuff in other games as well. Alright, so that's good enough. So then we have to go over to our character here. We're going to equip her with these attacks, with these rings that we have. So she's going to do a lot more damage, and then we're good. So now we can start Japan. Japan's not the next level we're supposed to be doing, but we're going to do it anyways. Just because it's the first level selected, and I just do it in that order. But we're all good. So we're at chapter 6. Actually, no, Japan is the next chapter. It's the chapter after that that's not. Shows how much I actually pay attention to the chapters in this game. All I know is they're not in order after this chapter for sure. So now we have different moves. We have a lot more attacks with the dual swords, which is not as fast as single, but they do way more damage, they have way more range, which is kind of a good trade-off in most cases. The one thing I don't want to do is do probably what I just did, because that may have been a bad thing. Because we just saw an enemy like a little bit fly off the screen there, so hopefully that's not going to bite me. Thankfully he hit the kill plane, so we're good. Alright, so we have these other enemies now, which are like Stretch Armstrong guys. They can throw their arms at us and hit us into the ground. I don't know what to really call them, but I don't like them, so we're going to hit him off into the water. He's going to die. And we're going to just go through all these rest of these enemies and clean them up as quickly as possible. Sort of switch back to single swords here just because it's a little bit quicker. Oh my god. For whatever reason, I was losing inputs on my jumps there, but that's fine. Alright, so we got him with that attack. That's good. Alright, so this part is kind of annoying because it's kind of hard to tell which enemies I'm supposed to be killing. But it's most of these gunner guys here. We have to kill quite a few of these guys first. And then there's a few regular enemies that we have to kill as well that are spawning. It's just really hard to know exactly which enemies are part of the trigger or not to advance this area. But by this point, you could barrier skip, but it's actually faster because of how hard barrier skips are to actually just do the combat in those sections. There's only one chapter where I actually do several barrier skips in a row that actually makes it worthwhile. But if you were to do ILs, I think barrier skip would actually be the best for that, because you're just doing the individual level and you can just keep doing resets. But because of barrier skip being actually pretty difficult to do, I don't think it's worth doing in actual speedruns for story modes, just because of how difficult it is. So we just got a bit out of time, you know, evade or whatever. Kind of don't want those. Alright, so we got all the guys that we needed to. And now we get to fight the boss of Japan, which is this big guy that comes out of the water here. So yeah, so this boss is pretty interesting. He's got 2 phases. We're in the first phase. I know it doesn't look bad right now. It's actually a pretty easy boss. It's the second phase that I don't like because it's annoying. And we'll see that very shortly why that's the case. So he's going to come out of the water. I'm going to be able to do a QTE. There's actually several QTEs on this boss. I think it's like 3 in total. Alright. So now we're on to phase 2. And now we have to fight him again. But he's the upper torso and a giant pair of legs that can stomp around on the level. So yeah, this boss literally has a phase 2. So we're going to get the torso here a little low. And then we're also going to find the legs as well, which for whatever reason is really hard to lock onto. And now they're jumping around. Okay, so that's that. Where's the legs? Okay, I'm just going to do the QTE while the legs are coming up. Just get that over the way. The legs are always like the last thing I QTE, but that's fine. It's just killing the torso is a really long QTE, and I like to do them back to back if I can. Because I could set that up, it's just really difficult to set that up, because after a while, the QTE is not there anymore, so. But this is a pretty slow boss fight. Hopefully the other ones go by a little bit better. Should be have the right character out here. Can you jump? Thanks. This pair of legs are just not being nice. Alright, so now they're wounded. They actually have to go in the water and jump back out for me to get the QTE. But as soon as that happens... What? Why? There we go. I was gonna say, like, am I just not in range? Alright, so hold on to your ass cheeks there. Because we just gave him a nice splitter. And that's the end of this boss. Really don't know why this boss is a thing, but he is. Not too bad. That boss fight could have been, you know, probably a half second faster at least. High School Zombie Hunter is not a better game than this. This game is designed way better overall. So we're gonna go back into our skill up menu here, and we're going to grab a few more attacks here. Quick draw and low slash upgrade here. A lot of these are like really useful skills. It'll be nice to have, especially for the coming up boss. But we have 20k, so that's pretty damn good. There's a lot of attacks to learn, including that one that we just skipped there. So we're learning some for another character as well, which we'll be switching to quite a bit later on. That's all good. Now the reason why I select the order that I do is because the order that I select is based on the D-pad menuing in the middle of the fight using up or down to select the characters. So if I select the first character I want to use in the first slot, the last character that I select is automatically going to be positioned in the slot that I hit up on the D-pad, and it automatically switches to them. So that's exactly why we do it the way we do. So if I hit up now, it's going to go to her younger sister, which is the one I was just buying skills for as well. And that just makes getting to that character a lot quicker. Because normally, she's one of the last characters to select. And then I would have to menu it for this character that I'm currently playing. So it's kind of nice that I can select the character order, at least for now. In the later stages, it won't really matter too much. Okay, there's another enemy crawling around here. I love those jumping around monks.
I wasn't representative of my true skill.
They really love to jump. I don't know why their legs are tied together, but they just are. But the banter in this game is incredibly well done. I'm actually glad that they were able to optionally have English and Japanese voice acting. Japanese voice acting is probably slightly better, but the American voice acting is a lot more humorous. But it shows that they had a lot of fun with this game, for sure. So that attack was the quick draw. Didn't sound very quick, but all the follow-up attacks make it worthwhile because it's a really good attack. So we just got to finish off these monk guys here. Make sure we got all of these guys. There we go.
I did the best I could.
So we're just like kind of jump around, and whenever I need to wipe off my weapon, make sure we do it in the air because I want the standing still animation. I'm also going to take the shortcut here that the devs just so happen to have left in the game. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but they just left a whole tunnel here that skips right to the door right in front of the boss of the stage. So we really don't have to do as many of the fights that the game wants us to. For whatever reason, half of them don't even count anyways, so it doesn't matter. We'll just skip right to the boss. Makes this chapter pretty short. So yeah, the boss door is right here. Thanks, devs. I don't have to really like try to figure out where the hell I'm going, because this chapter is actually pretty confusing. The Wii Onechanbara is a bad game. Don't ever play that one, especially if you don't want to play a game with terrible motion controls. It's actually worse than Star Force Unleashed, or Star Wars Force Unleashed. So yeah, this boss is, he just runs away most of the time. He doesn't really do a whole lot. He reminds me of King DDD from Kirby. He just literally tries to hit you and runs away. That's pretty much all he does. He just throws himself around. So now we have a transformation. Sorceress is not usually alive for as long as he is. So that's fine. Alright, so we have the QTE now. And that's the end. Don't worry, I have my water right here, just for this occasion. I have not been live for 17 hours. I was dead about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago. 40 minutes ago. Alright, so we're going to go into this menu here. We're actually going to buy some weapons now. So we're going to buy my twin blade weapon. Or apparently not. Apparently that stage didn't give me enough stuff, so that's fine. We'll wait. It's not a super important thing. Normally I should have enough to at least buy the weapon, but apparently not. So that's fine. Yeah, Team Fortress 2 is definitely a speedrun in this marathon. It's probably going to be pretty amazing. So now we went from, what was that, chapter 6 or 7 to like 10? It's definitely out of order now. But anyways, we're in the desert, and we have to get into these arenas to... Okay. I'm trapped. Like, I'm in the... I have to restart the level. I don't know if anybody caught that, but I clipped into the sand mound, and yeah, that's never happened. That's never happened. I've never clipped in the sand mound that fast. I usually like go right by it into where all the enemies spawn, but I clipped into the sand mound, so I can't actually get out of there. So yeah. That's interesting. There's a lot of different areas I can clip into weird stuff. Like I clipped one of the actual skips that we do that's major. You can actually clip under the level and get stuck there. There's like no way out. It's kind of annoying. Alright, so this time we didn't clip into the sand mound. I didn't even know that was possible, but that's fine. So if you got the Sandstorm emote, I would post a lot of that for this chapter. Because there's a giant sandstorm that we're trying to take down to get to the boss. So just keep spamming that at least until we kill the Sandstorm boss. We'll see him soon. So we got to kill these the moles here. They're gonna kind of like move around the level. Let's hope we don't have any issues with them spawning and me not finding them. Like right now. There's one around here somewhere. Where is he? Oh, there's a guy though. Where's this mole? There he is. There's a couple of them. Alright, so we got all that. So we can go to the temple over here, which will have the sandstorm drop off of it. The game kind of wants us to go a different direction, but we're just going to go up here instead. We're going to kill these enemies here so we can drop the big sandstorm off in the distance that we'll be looking at very shortly. That won't be there for very long, though. Because there's one other fight we have to do this after this that we can skip too. That actually drops the sandstorm for us. Because without doing that, we actually can't fight the boss. So we use air dashing a lot, and the reason why is because air dashing actually has like a sticky targeting. So as long as I'm like dashing towards an enemy, it'll pretty much go right towards them, or like a group of enemies. But I use target locking to like specifically select a direction, because other than that, I really don't have an idea of which direction I'm going to be jumping into, unless I'm just facing forwards. So there'll be a lot of times you'll see me like air dash into a wall. It's not my intention to do that. It's literally the game just trying to like clip the enemies and drag them with me, because that's just how this game works with those mechanics. Alright, so we got a transformation, which is good. So the items that we're getting as well will be useful later. We're not really going to be using them right now. They're not really beneficial early on. Okay, so we got to go this way. I know it's telling me to go to the right, but we don't. We're just going to ignore that. We're going this way, specifically this way. We're going right over here to these this box and this barrel. It's going to start a fight over here. And this is exactly where we want to be. Alright, so now we're going to summon all our other characters for this fight. It'll make cleaning up most of these enemies a little easier. Alright, so we got blue moles as well. The blue moles are not nice. They're just a lot stronger moles. On a new game, they could kill me, but we're fine. Trying to take advantage of our transformation here to really kill these guys fast, especially the blue moles. Alright, so we need to look for that sandstorm, and we're running this way. So we're going to be air dashing this way, which gives us momentum. Fortunately, it doesn't work that well going up hills, so we're going to have to try to be careful when doing it. So we got a cutscene here, and then we have a boss.
Things got a real warped fashion sense.
Alright, so we got the first QTE out of like 3. Alright. It's 1. Alright, so we got the second. Alright, cool. So we're getting a lot of more hits than we're supposed to on that combo, which is nice. Alright, so that's the last QTE and the boss is dead.
That was bad.
terrible score, but still pretty decent time. Alright, so now we're on to Peru. So now we're going to go buy that weapon that we wanted to get. We can't actually buy that yet, so that's good. So we're going to go into our character here and select a new weapon and finish up the... So we got this stage, one more of the like interchangeable select whatever level you want to do in whatever order part of the game. After that, it's pretty much just finishing up the boss rushes and the last required stages to advance this plot line, and then it's onward it goes. So we go from chapter 10 to chapter 8. Just because it's the order that they appear on the map, from right to left.
We gotta stop them before they reach the village down below. Okay, let's drop off our bags and head out.
So these weapons will do slightly more damage, not a big change. It's more your attacks that matter, not so much the weapons themselves. Like, you can play through this entirety of the game without actually upgrading your weapons. The only thing you don't have access to on a new game file is obviously harder difficulties in casual or normal. Hard only becomes unlocked when you clear the game on casual or normal, and Berserk only comes unlocked when you've cleared the game on at least normal or hard. So you gotta clear the game once to get the next difficulty, which is hard. And you have to clear the game on normal or hard unless, in order to get Berserk, which is one of the hardest difficulties of the game. And you get a unique pair of rings for completing it, which are really good for New Game Plus runs. But I still don't use them, because there's a little bit of a risk with them. Some trade-offs. Alright, so now he's flying, but there's a QTE we can get. We're going to chop off one wing. We're going to chop off a second wing, because we got enough damage that we can do both QTEs back-to-back. This game, reminder, this game has way better QTEs than Resident Evil 6. Because that game is entirely QTEs and no fun gameplay whatsoever. It's run from point A to point B and do QTE every time. And if you fail those QTEs, it's game over in Resident Evil 6. Whereas in this game, it's just you fight the boss and you gain a little health back, and you know, you learn from your mistake.
I did the best I could.
All right. Anyways, so we're almost at the boss of this chapter. He's a real big boy. I don't know what to really say about him. He's just like a demon dragon lord looking guy. Boss design in this game is pretty interesting, and that was a pretty clean fight. I will have to say that was a very clean fight. Just a lot of enemies along this little path. We just kind of barrel through them using the air dash mechanic. There's a statue there. We don't really bother with statues in this game like the first game. So this is our big boy here. We're going to call in some backup from our allies there, and gonna, you know, do some massive damage to him because he has a lot of health. So we have a QTE ready, which is good. Most of the QTEs are the same with every character, but the animation variants could happen. But most of the bosses are pretty static with the animations. But yeah, you get to show some cool stuff. Alright, so we got our QTE here. knock him over, and then we'll give him the old beheading with his own axe. And finish him up here. Oh my god, it's so annoying like this. He has a really big hitbox, so I was hitting him while I was up in the air, which is nice. For whatever reason, I don't think they really shrunk his hitbox that much. But that's the end of the boss. And we got a V rank, so that's good. So we got a gold because we screwed up a couple fights and got A's and a B. But that's fine. Finger quick, of course you'd be thinking about that. But how you doing? It's not 60 FPS. This game is in 60 FPS. It's just not capturing in 60 FPS for whatever reason. Anyways, we're going to skill up again. So what we need to do is go down to our character here and grab some more of our attacks, because we're going to need them. Especially for the other character here. I don't know why. Alright, so, forgot what chapter this is, but anyways, do this chapter. Alright, so we're at chapter 7. Definitely out of order. Alright, so we're going to go to the very end here, make sure all the guys are spawned, and then we're just going to start killing things while Anna here is briefly talking about her findings. So what we're doing, we're killing some enemies so we can get a mini-boss to spawn. And then that way we know that all we have to do is kill him and then finish up the rest of the remaining enemies that are around here. But we have to kill a pretty good number of these enemies before that boss spawns. There we go. So now he's over here, this big ogre guy. He's gonna come down here and try to give us the what for. Which is totally fine. I understand. He really doesn't like us. Bosses. Alright. Got him down. Chop off one arm. He ruined my combo. Oh. Alright, so we got a transformation, which is kind of good, but a little scary because I'm low health, but it'll help kill this guy a little bit faster. So we have the other QTE now, which is nice. There is a lot of blood everywhere. It's like a bloodbath of a Sunday. It is Sunday, which is even better. So, perfect outfit for a Sunday. Alright, so now we can switch characters here so she can recover a little bit. And she'll switch to the sister here, get her sword out there. And clear up all these enemies around here, just so that we can get on through this stage. We're going to try a small fight skip that's actually pretty annoying to get.
and could just not get. It doesn't really cost a whole lot of time if I don't get it, but it does save like literally a second in most cases. As long as the enemies cooperate, it can save quite a bit of time in comparison to like just doing the fight normally. But we're gonna try not to do the fight because we're speedrunners, and if we can just skip something, let's try.
Been a while since our
As
last
long as
field
it
trip,
like
huh, Saki?
doesn't really mess with the thing. So there's a barrier here, and we got it.
Gone swimming
So now I just have to get out of there. So that fight's active, but we're gonna go into a different fight instead, and just ignore that fight altogether because for whatever reason, triggers are still loaded, and the game doesn't stop you from going into other fights. So there's a giant wall that appeared on the other side. It's a double barrier. So even if I get through that one fight up there that I did skip, I'd have to do the fight down here to get past the second barrier that they have up, because they're like, nah, you gotta do it. So unfortunately, I can't skip that barrier. So I'm going to have to do this fight instead, which is actually a more important fight and allows me to farm a little bit more as well. So that's kind of nice. So our other characters recovered a little bit, so we can pull her out now. Switch her to single sword, which is way better for juggling up regular enemies. And she kills them a little bit faster since she's transformed right now, or in rage mode. She's not transformed yet. We'll get that later. All right. Cool. So now that that barrier's down, we'll go on the staircase and then skip around the pole like that. And hopefully we hit the trigger for the boss fight. It's supposed to be over here somewhere. It just, I feel like it moves. Sometimes I get to the end here and it just activates. Other times I just run over here and it activates. Sometimes I can just break the dialogue by going to it. I think it has something to do with that skip. There, it just activated on its own, so that's good. Because sometimes it doesn't, and I have to be in a certain spot for it. But for whatever reason, I'm glad it just activated. So we're going to call in backup as well. So we're fighting two zombie sisters here. So that's one in QTE. We're going to get the other one down to QTE as well. We want to get them both down to QTE status so that we can get them back to back. All right, they're both down in that state, so that's good. So we can do them back to back now, which is nice. Chad, I'm really sorry for what's about to happen, though. Genuinely sorry that we have to experience this together. There, that was all for you. Okay, that QT. This touchpad sometimes just doesn't like cooperating. All right, so that's that boss fight's done. And now the real game starts. We're over halfway done the game, so we're closing on the last few chapters. We got a major skip coming up soon, but we have to do one annoying level with one annoying boss. And it's the dreaded elevator boss. I don't know if anybody's ever played a game where the run takes longer because of elevators, but this game has something like that, so we'll get into that. I want to buy another ring here, and that's the... I think it's that technique ring, yeah. No, I don't have enough for that, not even close. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna buy another weapon because it's cheaper. Perfect, that's like all of my money. Alright, so we have a level we have to do. Oh, no, we have to do this level first. I guess I get to do the cool trick of the game first. So what we do is we restart the chapter. That's kind of required because we don't want all 4 characters out. After this, then we get to do the elevator boss. I really don't like elevator boss, but we'll get to do the cool skip first. So skip's done in 4 parts. We skip 3 levels of multiple fights. That saves, on average, 30 to 45 minutes. So this game could be a hell of a lot longer if we didn't do this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just line myself up. Alright, so we got 1. We have to do this 2 more times. Alright, that's 2. That was a good recover. I was a little worried. So the reason I'm not trying to go too far into the arena is because there's a barrier, and we got it, so that's good. Alright, cool. So there's 2 fights up here we do to unlock a door, and we just skipped like several mini-bosses, probably a half an hour to 45 minutes of a headache. And all we have to do is do these guys instead, which is way better. I will take fighting these guys over all the other guys that we skipped any day. Because these guys are a little bit easier to do, and they're smaller rooms. I don't want to be chasing enemies around the bottom floor. Because the thing that sucks is every floor has, like, except for the top floor, has about 4 or 5 mini-fights, and then several fights in the center of the level you have to do between those fights. And I really don't like doing those. It also means I have to go all the way back down to do them, and I don't want to. So I'll just do these top floor fights and then call it a day. Alright, so now we have another guy spawn. Gotta pay attention to my weapon blood gauge there as well, because we don't want to have too much of it fill up. So the reason why we're not playing the other character right now is because she's a little low on health. So we're just going to give her a little bit of time to recover there. Also, the chainsaw is like really, really good. We'll kill this guy first. Alright, so chainsaw is down, we can switch back here. Kill all the rest of the Stretch Armstrongs in here and we're good. Alright, so we're done that fight. There's one more room up here. Alright, cool. So we go around the outside of the level over here. Go into this one more fight, and then it unlocks a doorway to a hallway. We run through the hallway, killing these little tiny guys that jump on statues and make the statues come alive, which we see right here. And then we go to a boss that's that we're not supposed to win against. We're going to summon some allies to help clear out this room a little bit faster. Just because I don't want to be chasing around all these guys everywhere. You have to kill the statues too. They apparently count as enemies, so. Alright.
Was my death blow not elegant enough?
Alright. So now that those are done, we can run through the next hallway coming up. Gotta be very careful, because, like, the enemies below me are spawned, and I don't want to be air dashing downwards.
Let's finish this.
Alright, so the gate's open, we get through.
No other choice.
Alright, so we have a cutscene with a boss we saw earlier that knocked us down. It's a timed fight. This fight's gonna take as long as it normally wants to take. But at this point, we just try to maximize combo for score and reward at the end of the fight. Of course, she's gonna lock me up with their guns. So this boss that we're fighting is Yvanche. She's not Camellia. Camellia is from the first game, and she's apparently dead. So we think. But anyways, we're just kind of waiting. There we go.
Was my death blow not
We got an S rank. We barely did anything in this fight. We got an S. So it's really not hard to get a good rank.
I'd expected the fun to end with your death.
But yeah, we skipped a lot of fights. Just gonna point that out. We did literally three rooms worth of fights, and that's it. So it's a pretty important skip to get, being able to skip up those 3 floors. Which, I mean, I'm glad that we don't have to see, like, 2-hour runs because of it. We do it in both New Game and New Game Plus, so it's not that hard to do, really. You used to do another variation where you used to skip on a pillar on the far end of the room during combat, and then I realized that instead of doing it that way, can't I just jump up the railings there? Because it's probably, they don't have a wall if I can get that high up there. So turns out they didn't put a wall up there, stopping me from getting that high up. So using some character mechanics that the game literally gives you, I could just jump up there myself. Alright, so now we have Super Saiyan mode for the vampiric characters that are in the first game that we're now playing, which are the 2 main characters that I've been spending time like leveling up a little bit with weapons and skills. And kind of a reason why I do that is because these characters are genuinely faster. I wouldn't say their combos are the best, but they're genuinely faster in most cases. And they do a hell of a lot more damage, especially Aya here. She does a lot more damage. So we're going to go up here and spawn some of the enemies up here. Alright, so I'm just going to clean up the rest of these guys around here. We were avoiding getting hit there. I know it seems slower, but it got me to a point where I could use a 1-hit attack, which is really nice. There's enemies down here, and I don't want to Well, we'll kill this guy first, then we'll go down here and get these enemies that got stuck. Alright,
That
cool.
wasn't representative of my true skill.
Alright, so we got a cutscene here, and now we get to play the elevator boss minigame. So hopefully we get a good combination of elevators and we can just get up to the top floor. They're semi-random to an extent. Still haven't fully understood how these elevators work yet because there's so many combinations for like the number of floors that we have, which is I believe around 6 to 7, maybe 8 floors potentially, because I've had 2 bonus floors where you can just go back in the elevator and go up. But I'm not sure exactly the order or combination that we do to get those. And that's literally saves a couple minutes if we can skip each of like a floor. Literally saves at least a minute, maybe 2 for every floor that we can skip. And hopefully we get to skip at least 1. But knowing how things have been so far with this game, I don't know if we'll even be able to skip 1, so we'll see. So we're just going to clear up the rest of these enemies here. Kill Mr. Stretch Armstrong over here. That guy came to us, so that's good. We're going to go in here. I don't trust that other side of that elevator there. Usually if I just go all left, I'm going to hit every floor. So I'm going to try to do some elevator doors on the right-hand side as well, just to see if we get some skips. So we have the her younger sister here that's still got the transformation, which is nice. So we can use that to our advantage to kind of clear up this floor a little bit faster. Most of these enemies will die in like 1 or 2 hits.
Just one of those days.
Alright. Okay. Just gotta make it all the way to the top. Alright, so we got a bonus floor, which is nice. So that skips like literally 1 floor. So that's literally a minute saved already. So we're lucky, so hopefully we can do it a second time. That'd be kind of nice. Nope. Not even sure how many bonus floors we could end up getting as a possibility, but we'd have to play around with the elevators a lot more. But if someone wants to figure out exactly what's going on with these elevators, I mean, potentially could have some pretty serious stuff down. Alright, so there's Frank Z spawned up. We gotta take care of him. We're going to transform here to make this a little easier now that we have that. So we're going to cut Frank Z's tail off.
You're dead.
Oh, hi, there's an enemy just chilling there.
I did pretty good myself.
Nice. I was hoping for a door on the right, but that didn't happen.
Back at ya. You're dead.
Alright, so we killing those mudmen because we can't kill them without this attack. Gotta kill these imps so we can get by here, but they do drop items, which is pretty nice. Alright, so just gotta clear up some minis in this fight floor as well. Nothing too serious. We're trying to clear up the Medusa heads here. They chase me from behind. Alright, I'm good with that. Almost to the top. Kill these Cyclopses here. And these werewolves, apparently, that are hitting me around as well. Alright. Kill the Mr. Stretch Armstrongs. That's not what I wanted. You don't want to wipe the blood off lower on the ground. That's slower. Why would I do that? There should be an enemy hiding right here. Or a couple of them, apparently. There's an enemy hiding around here. Here he is. Alright, good stuff. We just broke the 4th meta. She knows it's a game. She knows it's a game. She's breaking the 4th wall. How are we allowing her to do this? So we're going to go here. We're going to spawn a boss instead of actually fighting anything like we're supposed to. Apparently this boss is tied to the door trigger. So, fun fact, this boss won't spawn unless you come over here or kill all the enemies. So we're just going to spawn all of our friends here. It's the end of the chapter anyways. Going to give Frank RZ a bad time. And we're going to chop off his tail. I don't know why, we're just going to do that. And Frank RZ's dead, so now we can just continue on. The elevator is open, so then we can go to the roof. So this is literally like the longest chapter in the game too, so I'm glad that that chapter is over with. It's not the most entertaining chapter either, just because we're playing the elevator minigame pretty much most of it. And that's the true boss. But we did skip one floor, so I was happy about that. Would have been nice if we got 2. But, I mean, that's a bit too much to ask from this game sometimes. Just not getting clipped into objects is nice. Like, I mean, we had that sandstorm skip. So a little laggy right here for a few seconds. It's just like spawning mass enemies. And it makes getting around this level super difficult. And now we're at a boss. So we're going to quickly use a couple items here. We're going to use a power gem and a rapid gem. And make this fight, if I can move, make this boss fight a lot faster in general. So we're just going to wail on this boss a whole shit ton. Gonna make sure that we keep the blood off of our weapon here as well. It fills up if you don't do as much damage. Alright, so now we have the QTE. Throw into the air. Make a slammer into ground. Boss fight's over. That's simple. Really short chapter. Alright, so the boss, like, gets up and, like, throws herself off the roof. It's technically a boss from the previous Onechanbara as well, but you don't actually know that in this game. You just, like, you think you remember her, but you don't. I don't know how you forget that. Like, if you've seen someone that fucked up, I don't know how you would forget her. But anyway, she throws herself off a roof and we never see her again. I don't know what happens. I don't know if there's a sequel. The game, we'll get to that. Like, I don't know where this game kind of goes after this point. It just kind of gets a little crazy. We're going to try to finish buying this weapon that we didn't buy. And then go back in and, yeah, it's just another weapon we can need to get. And we got some skills to grab as well. Not that one. We're pretty much at the last part of the game too, so we're just kind of finishing up grabbing stuff for our characters. We're good. Whatever. I don't care about that order. I only care about the first character order. So we're in the last sections of the game now. It's kind of where things can be interesting. So there's a whole like spiel going on by Anna here, which we briefly talked about in the Schoolgirl Zombie Hunter run. And she's like basically telling us some stuff right now. This fight could be faster, but it literally doesn't matter because it's I have to wait for all this dialogue to finish before I can actually continue with the run. But we got to here as soon as it finished, so that's all good. So this room that we're going into is a little bit of a nuisance because I have to kill enemies on multiple levels. Like it's there's three heights in this level, and there's the ground, and then there's the catwalks, and then there's some enemies in the rafters or the beams. And if they fall down here, it's kind of an annoyance to get all the way back up to the door to advance the stage. So we want to try to kill every enemy on the ground floor as possible, like reasonably, and then like maybe come back down once to like kind of clean them up a little bit. We don't want to leave an annoying number of enemies down here, because that would make things bad. So we're just going to kind of clean up most of these enemies and get through these. So we have transformation now, so we're going to kind of hold on to that for now. Gatling gun guy was ready to ruin my day. I'm not going to let that happen. So we're going to clean up most of these enemies. I don't know why this guy jumped around like that. Alright, so to finish off killing these enemies, I'm going to switch characters here, just so we're not wasting any of it. I'm going to switch back to her here. Because for whatever reason, as long as they're not on the active party member, they don't actually drain their transformation gauges, and they actually slowly recover health while you're not playing as them. So that's actually really nice. So we're just going to use that to our advantage to kind of like mop up most of the enemies relatively quickly. So you can see that there's some enemies over here in the rafters. So we're going to try to knock them down here. Oh my god, go up the stairs, please. Alright. Apparently this game doesn't make good stairs. Okay, so they all fell down there. So now we can just run over here and deal with these guys. Alright, so we're hitting enemies around, which is fine. As long as when we go back down there, we're not having any issues with finding enemies. So, yeah, there's supposed to be enemies spawning. We knocked those guys down, which is nice. Now we're just going to kill these guys up here, so we don't have to deal with them. And any other guys that we knock down, we're just going to go clean up right after this. Because we have to unlock that door up at the top there. There's no actual way around it. I tried skipping around and clipping out of bounds. Most I've managed to do is clip myself into a spot near the door where I can't actually get or do anything, and I just get stuck. So now we're gonna drop down here, I guess. So this game's not gonna let me do anything else, and we're gonna clear up the rest of these enemies that we knocked down. There's quite a few of them, actually, surprisingly enough. Okay, that machine gun guy is annoying. Kill him first. There's a couple of machine gun guys we knocked out of the rafters are still alive, so it's fine. And there's even a Stretch Armstrong while we're at it. Oh, that was not nice. Alright, so we killed him. We just gotta kill these last few guys. Alright, pretty sure we got all the enemies. No. Missing one. Alright. I hope we got them all. No, there's one guy up there. I don't know how he lived, but he lived. Why? What is wrong with you? How'd you get stuck up there? My hope now is that we got every enemy. Looks like it. Yeah, door's down, so we got them all. That's good. Now we can continue. We're almost done with this level. And then everything else is going to be pretty fast. There's a bit of a boss rush near the end, but that goes by relatively quickly. It's like just that part of the rib makes things a little dicey. And then onwards, we're just going to be powering through the rest of the stage and finishing up the last couple chapters, which are literally just a couple boss fights. Nothing too difficult. At least that's what we hope. Why are you guys still alive? Alright. So we're going to run to the left here, which is clockwise. If you run counterclockwise, you're going to be doing a lot more of these small fights, and we want to avoid them. There's also going to be one guy that spawns in front of the door that we want to drop it, and if he moves too far out of the way, he'll spawn a fight that we don't want to do. So we're going to try very hard not to have that happen. Alright. So we got transformation ready just in case as well, which would be kind of nice to use in some of these fights right here. Especially for these Stretch Armstrong guys. So after this fight, we'll have one guy that spawns that we want to kill, so it just drops the gate that we want. Come over here. Okay, so he actually cooperated this time, so that's nice. And we can go down this hallway here, kill all these enemies relatively quickly. So we can open the gate over here and go to a little boss. So we're going to use a cure gem here just so we don't die. And the boss is dead. Alright. It's good stuff. Okay, we're almost done. We got the boss gauntlet and then literally a couple boss fights after this. Won't take too long. So now we can summon our allies here. Make some of these fights go by, this little boss gauntlet thing go by relatively quickly. So we got 2 swords. We're going to swap characters here for a little bit. We're going to go ahead here and use a power gem and a rapid gem. Came out of the arena. Came out. Alright, so now we have 2 ogres. So we have a double QTE back to back, which is nice. So hopefully we can do the same thing for the second pair of arms. Oh, we didn't get it for the second one either. That's fine. Alright, so we have these mudmen now. We're going to transform. Alright, so now we have another boss, Frank Z. Get rid of Frank-Z's tail here. Alright, so finish up these last few enemies. Just spawn the pair of bosses that we don't want here. So we gave one character a barrier, not super useful. But now we have the other one in QTE, we can try to get the other one down to QTE status. So we had a Goddess Gem, which is nice, because it's a full heal and fixes all my problems. She's like being annoying, it's just blocking a lot. That's fine though. Alright, so we have both QTE set. Take care of this.
Let's finish this.
Well, she was in QTE. Alright. Alright, so that's done. Alright, so we're on to the last really quick section of the game. And then this run is over. A little bit of a hang up on some of the stages, but that's fine. Things like that naturally happen with this. Also, my menuing is not the fastest, especially for a new game run. But yeah, these next 2 chapters go by really quickly because they're literally just a really quick couple boss fights. with the same boss. So chapter 15 and 16 are going to go by pretty fast. So we're going to switch to our character that we want. We're also going to power gem and rapid gem for this fight. She's more annoying in this fight than her second phase. But we want to make these phases go by relatively quickly, if we can. Almost got her. Alright, so this first phase down. Don't worry, if you miss this this little bit here, we'll get to see it again momentarily. For whatever reason, instead of just being an actual second phase, they decided to make it a completely separate chapter. I have no idea why they decided to do that. Sometimes I question things that these developers do for these games. Alright, so you're going to want to get ready on time very quickly. Hopefully, Avenge's Super Saiyan mode doesn't really give me that hard of a time. Alright, so we're gonna power gem up there, and yeah, that's all we got. We have all 4 characters out here, so we're just gonna try to beat on her as fast and as quickly as possible. She has guns. It's not really fair. And bringing in guns to a sword fight is not really cool. I don't know why she just wouldn't find us any of the normal way. So we're gonna use another power gem as well. Normally we'd have an extra rapid gem here, but we had to use one earlier. Okay, so she's not being very cooperative right now. That's fine. Beat on her. Just waiting for another character. So we're switching characters here. She's almost there. She's got to keep her stun locked. And then she can't do anything. Just like this. She has a lot of health. Come on, Avenge. Stop playing hard to get right now. Alright, get ready on time. That's time. Anyways, that's Onechanbara, Z2 Chaos. Hopefully they make an even better sequel, if that ever happens. But anyways, enjoy the little outro, whatever. Thanks for having me here at NASA. And hope to see you guys another time. Enjoy the rest of the runs. Closing up the last day of the marathon. I think it'll be a great time.